Hey guys, how you doing? It's Trace again from Live 3 Dream. I hope you're doing great tonight. I'm excited to be back with you. I've got a watch on my wrist and in the flesh that I've wanted to see for a lot of years now. Basically, I heard about this brand when I first started getting into the micro brand scene. I had worn kind of department store watches, athletic watches, G-Shocks, things like that my whole life. But then I started noticing some of these micro brands popping up in the Instagram scene, and I got really interested. And I'm sure like some of you who follow these brands and follow this process, you did just like I did. I went to Google, I typed in how to start your own watch brand, and some random things came up. Some stuff came up about, overseas companies, some of the Asian market stuff came in. That's when I first learned about some of the overseas markets that create goods and, Alibaba and things like that. But the one that stood out to me was this page called The Ramble. And it was a guy, Zack, from Tyrone, Pennsylvania. And he had this little site, this little blog post, if you will, called The Ramble. And here we are full circle a couple years later, and I'm sitting here wearing one of his prototypes. So for me, this is a big moment, a big thanks to Zack over at Ardor and Forge, the brand that we're representing tonight. And I just, again, want to say thank you to him and for trusting me in full circle this process to now review his watch. So the specific model that I'm wearing tonight and that we'll talk about in the video is called the Detweiler, but this is the Rothrock, and this is a field style watch that Zack and his team has created. And again, it starts all the way back in 2017 with this little blog post called The Ramble. And basically what Zack was trying to do was to chronicle his creation of a micro brand. Zack has degrees in this stuff. He knows about this side of the business. He's been a creator. He's always loved to create with his hands. And that was some of the inspiration in wanting to create this brand and this watch. And again, you fast forward the time capsule to today, and he's been through all the bumps and the bruises that it takes to get a micro brand off its feet and actually into the Kickstarter space and to the interwebs and all those things to make it a real living, breathing watch on somebody's wrist. So again, crazy thankful for this opportunity to be able to show you guys this watch today. I think you're going to see these bouncing around the review spaces, and so please stay tuned to the different places. I'll try to put some links to the other people that are getting this watch to review it. The cool thing, man, Zack didn't go for one watch. The Rothrock is actually a 4-watch colorway launch. Very, very cool for their first launch and for his first launch to do 4 different colorways. The casings on these things, the coatings and the textures. Again, when we turn the camera, you'll get to see all that stuff. But he really just did hit this out of the park. So again, thank you to Zack over at Ardor and Forge. When we flip the camera, we'll tell more about his story as we explain the watch. If this is your first time to the channel, thank you so much. Please hit subscribe. Tell your friends about what we're doing over here at Live 3 Dream. I'm trying to give you the most honest reviews that I can give you of this micro brand space. The big things for me here, and the Rothrock and the Ardor and Forge brand does this so well. We want tough watches that hit your wrist for a great value and a great price point, but obviously something that you can bang around and knock around in your everyday life. I'm a dad of 3. Zack over at Ardor and Forge has 3 kids as well. He means for this watch to be something that you can take with you on your adventures on the weekend. And in those precious hours where you get to be dad, when you get to be driving the truck, driving the van, driving the car out into the wilderness, baiting a hook for your kids, showing them how to canoe, showing them how to backpack, hiking up a trail. This can be a watch that you're proud to throw on your wrist and that can bang along with you and your kids to make sure that you're going to make it. So again, thank you so much for this opportunity to review this watch. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. If you're not already, hit subscribe for me here on the channel. Find me at Live 3 Dream Co. That's Live, the number 3 Dream Co. on Instagram. Join us over there in the Instagram family. We're doing some good stuff over there and hope we bring you good content as well. So thanks again to Zack. Let's get this camera turned and see the Rothrock. Okay guys, let's take a look at the Rothrock. The one that he sent me, that Zack sent me, is called the Detweiler. It is the olive green face one, and this coating material is incredible. I've never seen it on a watch before. He calls it a proprietary sand cast texture, and that's basically what it is. That's the best way to describe it. I tried to find different words, but that's the best way right out of his description there on the website. It is a really unique casting that basically gives a texture to the watch in visual, but on the feeling of the watch and the texture, it's not like abrasive like a sandpaper. It's still smooth, not going to catch on anything. You're not going to scratch it or scratch other things, but hopefully I can get a couple cool shots of it here. It just really does play with the light, and it shows up differently at different times of the day. You take it in sunlight, it looks a little different. But again, I feel like this is a coating and a color and a texture that's going to patina really well over time. Now, Zack told me that this coating's a little bit darker than their final production models will be, but again, I love it. I think it's great. The things that I've worn it with, it's looked really well. So, you know, again, I prefer it. So, but again, you get that great military olive green dial. It's a beautiful color. He's got some awesome orange accents there with the Ardor and Forge logo. You have the Rothrock down there with the automatic badging down there in black, the matching orange second hands, and the coating here on the Loom on the hands is actually an orange as well. And we'll get to that here in a second. But just overall, guys, the size of this thing is perfect. It's 42 across the case. It's not too big. It wears well as a field watch. I have a bigger wrist. Those of you that follow the channel know, but you know, to me, it fits perfect. 42 millimeters for me is great. It's 22 lug width over here for your straps, and he's got that in a really cool canvas strap. And then lug to lug is 50. So again, it's not a small watch. You know, I know like Hamilton, they just came out with their, reissue of one of their old field watches in like the 36, 37. And guys, that's just too small for me. I would love to wear a watch that small, but for my bigger wrist, it just doesn't do justice. So I'm glad to have a field watch that's going to stand up and it's going to be a little bigger. So you get sapphire crystal, which is awesome. Not going to scratch it. But look at this, guys. Flip this thing over. A display case back, sapphire on the back. It's an NH35, guys, so it's nothing crazy. But again, it's going to be reliable as I'll get out. It's a word colors movement. You guys know a ton about that if you've been following these channels and these brands. But I mean, right away, y'all, look at that. It is a signed oak rotor. I have not seen this on another watch before. This is my first time to see a wooden rotor back there. And again, for Zack to have that thing laser etched with his logo and his name, it's a really cool detail. Hopefully you can pick up on the case back here with that sand coating. So cool. The casting is just really good. It's really well done. And then you also get to see the underside of this really nice strap. It's a canvas strap that's got some really cool kind of, I guess you would call these like almost like riveted, openings for the sizing of the bracelet for the strap. Really nice details. It's a gold kind of shiny stitching that matches the golden canvas khaki color. But again, it's a leather back strap. It's really comfortable to wear. And Zack's got his Ardor and Forge logo and badging there embossed on the leather. Really, really nice. Really well done. And again, guys, this rotor back there really blew me away. I read about it and I'd seen some pictures, but when I looked at it in person, it's a really cool detail, and so far been one of my favorite on any watches that I have reviewed. So great job with that, Zack, and I hope you guys appreciate that as well. Another cool detail that I like, obviously, it's some of the little details that matter. Hopefully my camera will pick it up here. He's got his logo, the Ardor and Forge logo there on the clasp, and then this catch, the catch for your excess band is this X. And again, I've never had that on a watch before. I've had different catches. The double system is, I think, what normally comes on NATOs and things like that. But this little X with leather, it matches the color of the band. It fits with the style of the watch, but it's just a really cool little detail that I liked a whole lot. Other things that I think that hopefully my camera will pick up here, the chapter ring is an oak. I mean, you can see it, and especially in the right light, you get to different grains that pop out of the oak. And I just think it fits so well with his branding, with his story that he's telling with the Rothrock watch. All of these Rothrock watches, there's 4 different colors. I have the Detweiler, which is the olive green version. There's the Seeger, and the Seeger, I believe, is one of the Seeger is the blue face one. So it's going to be the raw stainless kind of, the gray stainless steel. Same thing with the sand casting in that one, but it's going to be blue with orange hands. You have the Juniata, which is going to be really cool band. It's kind of a plum, kind of maroon, deep blood colored band. That one's going to have a fully loomed white dial, and probably of all of them, just because I'm a little bit more bland with my dials, I like, kind of the monochromatic white, gray, black. That's the one that popped off the page to me. And then you also have a really cool name, the Thickhead, which is a black PVD coating with the sand casting material, and that one is black with orange details, and those orange details really pop off the face. So Zack, in his first release and his creation of this Ardor and Forge brand, comes with 4 different face colors, 4 different dial colors, 4 different band offerings on those different combinations. And then with each of the watches, he offers upgrades for leather bands. So again, guys, totally blew us out of the park here with this initial release. And I hope you guys appreciate the different combinations you can get to with those. Also, another cool thing, a lot of people are signing their crowns. Rather than sign the crown, he inlaid it here with some oak details. Really cool. Again, the oak matching the back with the rotor there. Really cool in the coloring, and obviously just the details of that. The loom on this thing is big time. Super Luminova on the dial for the Detweiler here. I have worn it through the night, and again, woken up to check on kids, and we've had a couple kids get up in the night in the last couple of weeks, and that thing is still going. He drilled the lugs, another really cool thing on a tough watch. Makes strap changing easier. I just think overall it just improves the quality of what you're doing, and I do think that this one is going to go with a lot of different leather bands. I think a lot of different colors are going to look good on this one. And then the other faces will give way to any kind of NATO you want. This is going to be for your more military colored ones. Honestly, with this olive dial, you might even get some of the camo straps on these. I've seen some really cool different military camo and olive drab color ones that I think would look really well on this colorway. But again, the white face one, the Juniata, and even the thick head, the black dial one, I think would go with just a multitude of different bands. And I think what you find is, even though they have a different coating and have a little bit of a different uniqueness to them, that they will end up being strap monsters in your watch roll. And so really, really excited about that. Again, NH35 and movement, if there was one negative that I could put on this watch, and it's so hard to even pick on something, you're going to get that ghost stop. So, at the first position, there's nothing because it would have been for a date wheel. This is a non-date version here on the field watch style watch. And then obviously one more gets you to change the watch time and all that kind of stuff. It is a hacking watch with the NH35, which I appreciate, and it is hand windable. You can get this thing wound up, and the time, the power reserve on it has been really good so far. So great job with the team, Zack and his team, of making those details come through. I know everybody in the watch fam looks for those things. You want the hand wind, the hackable. You want the, you want to be able to set the exact time and have that thing stay accurate. The one that he sent me, the Detweiler version, and again, this is a prototype that he gave for reviewing, has been very accurate. I have found that, now I've kept it on my wrist so that I could wear it as much as possible to get you guys the best review possible, but I have been very impressed with the accuracy of it. And again, find it falls right in line with my other NH35 watches that I have. So really no complaints there, and really no complaints overall. Me just finding something to nitpick is that ghost position, which doesn't really matter in the long scheme of things as far as setting the time and there being that date stop. I imagine moving forward in the future, he'll come with a dial that will offer a date complication. That would be my guess, is as he moves forward to next releases, he'll get there. But I think right now, I think he's done a great job with this first one. To me, this is not a let me feel out the watch scene and see if I can do this. This is a big overhand right uppercut into the watch fam of we're on the scene, we're here, and we mean business. I think with all of the diver and vintage diver inspired watches that are coming out right now, creating a field style watch in a completely different vein than is out there already is something that's very respectable. So kudos to Zack and his team for having the courage to do that. And again, I have worn it now for about a week and a half, and I absolutely love it. It is a light watch. It's not crazy heavy on the wrist. You forget about it when you're wearing it, which is what you want from a field watch. And again, at that 42 millimeters, I don't want that to put people off. I think it wears a little bit smaller than that. I think it's in that 40 millimeter sweet spot. And again, where you're getting that 42 millimeters is this, the crown protection over here on the down here by the lugs at the 4 o'clock position. So let's get a loom shot for you. Again, the loom has been really good. I've enjoyed it. I got to turn some of these lights off so we can make that happen. Let me do it right quick, but I want you to be able to see a good loom shot here. Again, the C3 Luminova has been great on the watch so far. I like loom. I'm kind of a loom nut, and so it's really fun to be able to, turn the lights off at night and see this thing. Man, that's just in the light of my studio here. Look, there's a little bit of shadow to it. I can put my hands around it. Guys, talk about a torch, man. The second hand and the hands themselves are loomed in like an orange color C3 Luminova, and then obviously the dial and the numerals and the triangle markers there are just a regular C3 green. But again, I mean, like I said, this lasts for hours. I mean, he's got multiple coatings on this, and he didn't skimp on the loom as far as that goes. So once again, thank you to Zack. Huge thank you for allowing us to have a chance to look at this watch. I've been blown away from them ever since I looked at the Ramble years ago to try to figure out what I would do with a micro brand if I had my own chance. Here we'll put on the wrist so you guys can see a quick wrist view before we go. I would encourage you, go to find his website. It's Ardor and Forge. Again, he's got a 4-watch release, guys. It's not just one watch. So there's something for everybody here. It fits great. The band is very comfortable to wear. That canvas band is awesome. And again, I just think he knocked it out of the park here with this Ardor and Forge. This is the Detweiler with the olive green color here. So I can't wait to see the reviews of the full loomed version. That's the one that, again, kind of sticks out in my mind as one that I would like to see. And I can't wait to see the thick head as well. That's a really dark black face with the black PVD coating. So excited to see those guys and see what they look like. I know everybody has their favorite dial color, and that everyone has their different one that they would order, but just having 4 different watches to go after in this first release is something that I think will make a lot of people really happy. And again, I think it's going to attract people to his brand and keep people loyal to his story. So it seems like Zack's doing it right. It seems like he has been very honest along the way with that Ramble website too. That was one of the things that I was blown away with, is just his willingness to tell the truth about the process. He tells about some of his bumps and bruises. He talks about some of the negatives that he's faced and some of the hardships that he's faced. But obviously, looking at this final product, you see that there's been a lot of positives too. And he's been able to overcome a lot of barriers to make sure that he brings us a great product here in the watch fam. So like always, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit subscribe if you haven't already. Share this with anybody, man, that's interested in the watch fam and the watch space, so that we can get the word out about Zack's Ardor and Forge brand. And like always, man, if you're not already doing it already, I hope you start living the dream. Thanks so much.